Going through all that pain and being able to overcome addiction is a really amazing thing. Did it work out okay for you in terms of like, did you go to, recovery, and then did you just, come out of that a lot better, or like how long did that process take?
Well, to be honest with you, when I went through withdrawal, it was the worst experience of my life. I mean, I was hot, I was cold, I was sweating, I was going to the bathroom, I was throwing up. My skin was crawling. It was the most uncomfortable, most terrifying pain I've ever had in my life. And I swore to myself I'd never have to go through that again. So after I got through rehab, I never touched another drug. I knew I've had surgeries, have not taken any kind of painkillers. I used to be hooked on Percocets and Xanax and all these different drugs. And there is nothing I take right now because I am terrified of it. I hate going through withdrawal, and I'll never do it again.
Did you know some of that stuff was addictive kind of going into it? Like it's pretty common in wrestling and when people are traveling like that for people to pass some pills around and here, take this to make you feel better type thing. Were you concerned about it, or you're like, I'm never going to end up like that?
Well, I got introduced to painkillers when I broke my neck the second time in WWE. The first time I broke it was right before the Olympics. The second time was in 2003 in WWE, and I was introduced to painkillers by a doctor. And man, I love the way they made me feel. I mean, they didn't make me feel nauseous or anything like that. Some people get sick over them. It gave me an energetic feel. It made me feel good. I didn't feel the pain. It masked the pain. And the crazy thing about painkillers is your body builds a tolerance to them. So one doesn't work anymore. Then you have to take two, then two leads to four, four leads to eight. Before I know it, I was taking 65 extra strength Vicodin in a day.
Wow.
Enough to kill a horse. And I was deeply addicted. And not only that, but I was taking Percocets and Xanax because I was having anxiety because of my neck, breaking my neck. So the doctor gives me Xanax. And then I can't wind down at the end of the day. So the doctor gives me Percocet. So I'm taking all these different drugs and I'm abusing them. And, honestly, I shouldn't be here today. That's how much I was taking. And I decided after WWE, I went to TNA, Impact Wrestling. And over there, I got my painkiller problem under control because the doctor started giving me these 2 morphine pills twice a day. And so I stopped with the Vicodin. But I was still taking the other drugs, and I started drinking alcohol. And I was drinking it excessively. And what that got me was 4 DUIs in 5 years. Yeah. My life spun out of control. I mean, I lost my reputation, everything I worked for. I was at the lowest point in my life. And I remember calling my wife from jail after my 4th DUI, and she said, I can't do this anymore. You either go to rehab or I'm leaving. I'm taking the kids and I'm leaving. And I didn't want to lose my wife and my kids. So I went to rehab. And you know what? When I was in rehab, I thought I was going to be a fuck up. I thought I was going to get out of there and fuck up again. You just have all these question marks in your head when you go in there. And you're like, you finally get clean. And then you start thinking, what happens when I get out? Because I'm safe here. And when you get out, anything can happen. And I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay in rehab the rest of my life because I felt safe there. And but I got out and I stuck to my promise and I stayed off of it. So, and I have to give credit to my wife and my kids for that. That they're the reason I did it.
You know what? I'm curious, man, because there's a lot of people who do deal with those types of issues, whether it's like alcohol or painkillers, et cetera. And rehab, again, you were safe there, but obviously you had the help of your wife and your kids, but were there any other safeguards that you yourself set up for yourself so that you wouldn't sabotage yourself when you came out? Because like, if you wanted to, you could make the choice. You have the ability to go and find that shit for yourself. It's not like you can't, but you've obviously there are things you must have changed in your life to make it difficult for you to make that mistake again.
Well, you know what? There was nothing that motivated me. I had a switch in my head and I turned it off and I decided, you know what? I'm never going to take those again. And when I do something, like I said before, the OCD, I do it full tilt. I know that if I decide I'm going to quit something or I'm going to start something, I'm going to give 100% and stick with it. And I've done that to this day. I haven't taken a painkiller, no Xanax, no Percocets. I haven't drinking a drop of alcohol. I've been clean for 12 years now, and I'm really proud of that.